Hey there. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been an entire decade. 10 whole years. I mean, I put out a few things right after, but for the most part, it's been a decade since Mario Wario Lucario was uploaded. So, I was actually pleasantly surprised at the number of people who were like commenting on this thing for some sort of 10-year anniversary. It's actually, pretty encouraging. At the time, I didn't think it was going to get any real traction. I mean, well, a little bit of background. So, Brawl came out 2008. But yeah, I remember my friends and I playing it a whole lot, especially right when it came out. We had a spring break in probably mid-March, and while we were playing, one of my friends decided to select the character Mario, then Wario, then Lucario in that order, realizing they all rhyme and they have a common meter. So he's like, dude, you should make this into a thing. I'm like, all right. So yeah, I started work on making something of it. I found a sound pack of all the someone had basically ripped game audio for all the characters' voices and all that stuff. So from that as a starting point, I took the main theme from Ear and just hacked something together in FL Studio. A little bit of some there's some default trance setting and all that stuff. So it was just kind of hacking things together. It wasn't a whole lot of effort into it. I didn't even do the whole theme. There was just a point where there was the main theme was just too long. I'm like, all right, I have to crop it and loop it at some point. So that was the audio. That was maybe, I don't know, not a whole lot of effort. And then I kind of made a chorus out of it, put random things together that I thought would be funny. Friends and I were like, a friend from home, we were talking on Google Chat, G-Chat, back and forth about like all the different combinations of clips and voices and stuff we could do. So yeah, that became the thing. And then once that was done, I'm like, oh wait, if I upload this, I have to do like a video to it. So like, I think it was like spring break or was some other time in like spring 2008 where I'm doing all this. And then there was a long lull because I was at in college and at a reasonably busy semester, so I had a lot of work. So finally the summer came and I was going to do this internship, and I had this like weird mental health crisis and quit and flew and basically stayed with family for the rest of the summer. So I had a bunch of time on my hands, and then I used that to just actually make the video portion of it, just taking random cutscenes from the Subspace Emissary. So that the video portion was like very low amount of effort. Even now you have like a 16 by 9 video within a 4 by 3 video within like a window that now fits into YouTube's like 16 by 10 or 16 by 9 thing. So it currently just looks awful, but at least the audio is good. So I put that out, and I didn't see much of it. One of my friends went on to 4chan's V and like pretended to be some random user who just found it and posted it or something like that. And it got like a few hits, and like people were like, what the fuck is this bullshit? So that sort of happened. It wasn't until I was on vacation in like August that I checked the number of views, and it had just like skyrocketed. Apparently like it had gotten enough shares from some forums and stuff like that. And I think the YouTube poop, I keep forgetting I don't have a pop screen, so I can't do this. The YouTube poop forums had someone had posted it there, so there was a bit of traction from there. But it was interesting. I actually got some nice feedback from in a private message from Captain Pan, who at the time was like basically, he and Walrus Guy were like basically the two biggest YouTube poop creators. So getting like that encouragement and was like really, really nice. I want to say it inspired me to make more stuff, except it really didn't. It was just a lot of work. YouTube was like sending all these messages asking me if I wanted to monetize it and setting up like all these things, but I was concerned that technically I didn't have rights to any of the audio samples that I used or the any of the video footage, and I just clearly took the video footage and used the samples pretty liberally. So it would be kind of difficult to make the argument that it's still like fair use. So I just decided not to try to monetize it. In fact, one of my later videos, I made I think the second one I made was a similar YouTube poop kind of idea with using debate footage from John McCain and Barack Obama, where I put the background to Daft Punk's Da Funk, and that was taken down maybe like 5 years after it was uploaded. It was like right around it was like the day of the election or something like that I posted it. But there was some effort that was put into that, and a friend had like some hacky idea, I think it's still up, for like playing the Gutsy Garden theme over this like a ridiculously slow moving house that was supposed to be part of some like art project, like I don't know. So if you're wondering why I didn't really produce anything after that or since then, it was a kind of combination of factors. It was that, one, making this type of stuff takes a lot of work. Two, the work is really isolating and tedious. Three, it was something that really I couldn't show to people and have them be like impressed, like people in real life. I'm like, hey, I did it with Mario Lucario. I like showed it to a few friends and like, okay, this is kind of cool, but really not much besides that. It was kind of cool. The summer of 2008, like TF2 was huge, and I used to go onto this one server that was it was basically 4chan themed. I think there were two of them, and one of them I was on a whole lot. It wasn't AIDS Pool, it was like the other one, but mic spam was kind of encouraged, and it just made the game a whole lot of fun because it forced people not to take it so seriously and to get angry over stuff. But at some point, someone played like someone mic spammed Mario Wario Lucario, and I'm like, holy shit, this is my jam, man. No, literally, this is my jam. So that was kind of this flattering moment. But I mean, like otherwise, it was, internet cred points. I couldn't make any money off of these things because, I don't have rights to all the samples and video clips that I end up using. I couldn't really. They're kind of derivative work, so there's only so creative you can get. But also, it's just a really restrictive kind of medium unless you're doing weird shit. And plus, there was a trend. I think there were guys. There's Vorhius, and I keep forgetting there were like one or two other guys. Some people with like usernames that I either don't remember or are really hard to pronounce. There were a few people who made like really good stuff, but around the time like 2009 or so, there ended up being a lot of these kind of mad videos where you basically took kind of audio samples from anime clips and stuff like that, and you just like pitch shifted it enough, and then you get you can make tones, you can make music out of it. So those became very common, and to be honest, those are really, really easy to make. Well, it depends on how. If you're doing it straight within a video editor, then I can imagine it being pretty difficult. But if you just take something, you tune it up or down to like a C natural, then you can just put it into a sampler, and then program the music you want to play into a sampler, and then you have an entire piece. And that's like relatively low effort, and you could do stuff with that. But it was putting the type of stuff that I was doing. You're making entire songs just out of these samples with real like structure and stuff like that. I don't know if there was necessarily demand for it, but it was something I kind of lost interest in. And also, I mean, it was a time. This is a time in my life that I was like pretty miserable. So like I'd made a few friends in college, like my first year. Kind of struggled to keep up with them and keep in touch with them my second year. It was like this miserable like PUA, men's rights thing, libertarian phase I was in, where I was just ornery, like miserly hermit-like asshole. So I mean, like, part of getting out of that involved like trying to interact with other people like a normal human being, and like getting away from this type of weird ass, super subculture focused video editing was pretty essential. So yeah, so I think that's a good explanation of why I haven't really done anything since there. And to be honest, I really don't have much interest in doing this type of stuff in the future. I mean, I have been doing my own music and all that, which has been kind of cool. That's actually been a lot of fun. A friend, I mean, I always been playing like guitar and bass. Well, bass then guitar for many years. Probably bass, it's like 15 years. Guitar is about a decade. And then like a year or two ago, a friend got me into like synthesizers, so I'm starting to make more electronic music, but this time with like actual sequencers and all this stuff, just because like I have a day job as a computer engineer, and like the last thing I want to do after like a long day at the office is like go home and spend more time on the computer. And it's like, so yeah, I've got some stuff set up, but I mean, all this stuff takes time. That's the thing. When you're me and you're the time I made Mario Wario Lucario was like this 20-year-old who's like, you know, has all this time and not a ton of energy to do stuff, but you know, having to find things to do. To me now, who I'm like, I like to think I have like much more energy, much more active now, but I have just like so little time. I have like so much stuff going on in my schedule. You know, groups I hang out with, political action stuff, friends, other things that, you know, I just really don't have time to like get into more of this kind of video editing stuff. But yeah, I don't want to discourage anyone from getting into it. I'm a big fan of the all of the, you know, the Gabe the Dog type pitch shifted stuff that's come out in the like last 2 years or something like that. A lot of them are really good. Or even better, all the stuff that Siva Gunner has been doing, I think is just like, the whole team are just hysterical. Both like how they can work things together, and like kind of the good musicianship involved, and I think that's all really cool. But I mean, like, if you're doing it for fun, it's like awesome. There's so many cool things you can do, and you can share with other people, and you can form these little communities. But if you're doing this like because you feel like you have to, like there's some fame aspect to it, then you just feel miserable. It just doesn't work out. So yeah, I guess that's the main advice I have artistically is like to find the intersection between what other people like and what you like, and form kind of communities and support things around that. Because doing all of this stuff by yourself, with not having anyone at your back, is just it can get really rough. It can get really, really hard to like motivate yourself to go past all this stuff. But yeah, I think I'm not sure if you're enjoying. Hopefully, you're enjoying the random footage I took from a trip to Iceland recently. It was the first vacation I took alone. I was like laid off from one job, and then accepted an offer at another place. And then like in the 3 weeks before I started, I ended up taking this like random vacation. First one time I've gone out of the country like alone like this, but it was great. you should definitely go. I mean, Iceland's expensive as fuck, but it's awesome. But yeah, I mean, like, so much of like life is like forming these little experiences and memories and stuff like that. It's just like so little of it is I really don't miss any of like the huge amount of time that I remember spending on browsing YouTube poop videos, or you know, on image boards like 4chan or whatever. I spent a lot of time on that, and I just don't miss any of that. I don't have any like super fond memories from like stuff that happened. The best memories I've made, you know, the past decade are all like really cool experiences that I've like shared with other people. Sometimes alone, but a lot of them, you know, these cool kind of social things. But yeah, I mean, that makes me me. So, well, hopefully 10 years, shit. Well, it's really encouraging it's funny seeing all these people saying, like, man, I remember this video from when I was a kid, and I'm like, wait, how old are you now? There are all these people who were watching when they're like 10 years old, and I was like literally double their age. This kind of weirds me out a little bit, but I don't know. It's cool saying people seem to have like specific memories of not where they were, but like, you know, listening to this song and all. It's nice. It's nice to have the kind of this shared experience, and seeing what, you know, people liked about it and all. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening for the whole time here. Maybe I'll incorporate some of my own made music into here. See how that goes. All right, take care.